Alrighty. Hello, hello, hello. It is I, Flintworth. Welcome to yet again another workshop. Today is going to be a shorter one, but that's fine. I still got a few things throw your way that should be helpful. Should get you all your brain juices flowing. But if you have any thoughts or ideas as I go along, please share them. But if you clicked on this video, or stream here now live, you saw that today we are talking about one of my favorite game worlds of all time. Good old classic Mario Brothers. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. Woo! I didn't have many, classic Mario shirts, but I do have my Doctor Who one. Which doesn't surprise me, because it's crazy how much that plumber has, been such a staple of the video game world. And not too long ago, I was asked on one of my videos on how I would go about bringing the intrepid plumber himself in this famous franchise to, the D&D world, which, put it simply, isn't... Well, I shouldn't say just him, but more so his enemies are the big thing. Now, I intend to go over all of them in the long run. I actually want to be like the Cuphead videos, which I should say streams I want to do going forward. I plan to kind of go back and forth between the good old Inkwell Isles and the Mushroom Kingdom, giving my thoughts on how to just, I guess, do all kinds of platforming fun in, a tabletop RPG setting. Now, if you recall, not too long ago, I was giving my thoughts with the Cuphead stream on, how you would allow the players, I guess, to really kind of feel like they were in that world. Because much like Cuphead, Super Mario and all his enemies don't really have, classically, a kind of like turn-based strategy mechanics to them. No. More often than not, most of his foes take one little bonk on the head to defeat them. So I was really wondering how, I would go about, I guess, giving your players the same kind of sense that, hey, not trying to land like the greatest hit, but the right hit. To which, on the Cuphead stream, my last Cuphead stream, I suggested kind of changing up how you play the game. Now, I kind of gave a general description of what I had in mind. Well, today, I actually have with me this time around let me get it out for you, a pre-written, where did it go? Shucks. I lost it! No! I know, I'll find it. But I actually have brought up what I'm calling my platformer background, that your players looking to maybe get into the Mario or Cuphead spirit can pick up and have a go with here. Let me show you what I have in mind. There we go. So, basically the gist is this. The platformer background essentially makes it so that your players, instead of rolling d20s, would instead be using a simple deck of cards to make their rolls. To be exact, a single suit of cards. So that would mean 13 cards made up of one of each of the numbered cards, one ace, one jack, one queen, one king. They would then use those cards to play them, one at a time to make up your rolls. Now, the example I give here, for instance, is Rita is asked to make a dexterity saving throw. She chooses to play a 10 from her hand. She has a +2 dex modifier and a proficiency bonus of 3, making Rita's final check for the saving throw a 15. Now, to make that more, I guess, down to the numbers, the hand itself, as you all may know, hopefully at least once upon a time, have been playing card games, specifically a classic playing card game. All of them have values. Now, this whole idea was inspired by the board game based on Bloodborne, where the designer, to kind of mitigate the fact that most dungeon crawlers have a lot of dice rolling, when a classic From Software game like Bloodborne usually has more about the timing and planning careful blows. Well, they had kind of like a little deck building mechanic they wanted to try to emulate in a D&D game with, like, well, a platformer as the inspiration. Because with that deck of just these set cards, which you can get back based on taking short or long rests, or really, if you run out, more of the details are, you can see there up on screen. So please, by all means, read up on them. But the key thing I like about this whole background, which I wanted to put in place, was that your players then, instead of having to make random rolls and hoping that, hey, I make the jump on top of that Goomba, or hey, I hope I avoid that Koopa Troopa, or successfully dodge that Bullet Bill, that they have more control over it. Because if it was actually like a video game, they would, have to time their jumps carefully. It would have to go and maybe get that power up or use that power up at just the precise moment. And this way, with a set deck of cards, they can do just that. They can decide, okay, I want to really definitely hit that enemy. So I could then use any of the card values that I know, let's say, if it's just a basic Goomba, it might be a bit low. I might have a good chance hitting it if I just use one of my, 5 to 6 valued cards, add on the modifiers. But I wanted to not just leave it just at the attack rolls. The idea is that you would use this for all of the skill rolls, meaning that throughout the game session itself, your players then have to pick and choose. Do they hold on and bank all of their best cards for a potential battle, or do they go and use those simpler ones because they want to save the others to try to take a chance at making a jump? Because like platformers or the Super Mario world is not just the enemies. It's all about getting to the right jump and getting the right kick off the wall here or there. And I wanted to emulate how when you play those games, typically under a timer, that the hero themselves don't have time to really, take their chances. They have to work on the timing. And as you see here on the sheet, I have it so that some of the value cards do have a... Oh, that changed things up better. Worse than out of light. There we go. Oh, that's it right there. Let me go and close that. That even, that the face value cards do have different values to them. But here, I messed up this whole thing. The overall idea is basically that, yeah, you as a DM can then mix in not just the classic Mario enemies, but you also can go and splice in some crazy challenges. Like, hey, you see your Bowser, or the Bowser, depends, how you want to go about it, getting away in his clown copter thing. I'm not sure what you would call it. I know there's a name for it. But you see, these swinging platforms right back and forth. Can you give me a quick ability check? Well, that way, like, hey, you can then use this methodology to, well, give them that nice mix of a challenge I'm hoping to really achieve with this. I do know that this, with how I have it set up here, if you haven't paused to read this, that it doesn't exactly give much room for, crit rolls, or like crit successes or fails. And I think that's kind of the trade-off when using a deck where you actually can intentionally use your cards, because half the fun of seeing those criticals is that, hey, your chances are in your favor, you've gotten that lucky blow. Whereas in platformers, it's not really too much about luck, it's more about skill. And therefore, a lot more of the fun comes from nailing that good blow. We need to play that card at the right precise time. Now, as people are playing cards, just to make sure I go over that real briefly, they are, losing them as they go along. They do get them back, typically all of them, after taking a short or long rest. However, if for whatever reason they go through all 13 before a rest, they can't get the cards back. I have it, though, set up that they get half of them back at randomly drawn, to really kind of play up the fact that if you were to emulate a classic Mario or Sonic level, that there's a time limit, and as time goes on, you may feel more of that pressure to get to the end, to complete your objective, which could lead to, well, quite frankly, you not having the chance to take the time to plan your jumps, to plan the right precise attack. Oh, hey, N King. Hi, buddy. N King writes in, "If we're doing Super Mario, are we taking away health?" Well, not necessarily. I did want to add that there have been Mario games that are based on RPGs, where, like Super Mario RPG, Legend of the Seven Stars, Paper Mario, more traditionally, that they, do have classic combat to them. And, you do can have, your health in there. 7 days. N-King works in 7 days. I'm assuming to allude to the fact of just the number of Sadako videos I've done for that guy. What was I going to say? Oh, yes. I was going to say, was trying to encourage you can still have health. Because if you think about it, when you do play any of those games, yes, more often than not, a single blow does take out Mario, Cuphead, or what have you. However, when you get power-ups and or anything like that, you can take more than one hit. Hell, in Sonic, when he gets poked, he manages to catch at least one ring, he can take, another few blows. But in my opinion, if you want to have it be, one hit, one go, then sure, go ahead. But I think having the health in there is still kind of grand. Reason being is because I didn't want to leave, people high and dry, because the whole inspiration behind during the stream today was talking about how to bring specifically Mario's enemies, or enemies like them, into the game itself. And I know more often than not that, let me hear, we're going to talk about Mario's enemies. You can't get, too far away from the classic Goombas. And I'm, of course, talking about this Goomba. Yeah, that little mushroom boy right there. Not that Goomba. This one. Not that one. This one. Not good? Very good. Creepy? Fun. You get the idea. But Goombas. Normally, I would try to go and create like a character sheet for random inspired characters. But in this case, Wizards of the Coast already have a decent kind of stand-in to use for whatever your Goomba needs. To be specific, in the good old classic Monster Manual, you simply should just bring out oozes. I'm talking about our classic Jelly Boys. Granted, you might have to go and change a little wording around to kind of fit the flavor of a classic Goomba. But if you look at their stats down the line, it is basically almost like a Goomba. Like, for instance, look at the gray ooze here. Let's read it off real quick. Their armor class is 8, so easy to hit them. So if you're going to use my little deck method, it's going to be too hard to play the right cards to get a few blows in. Secondly, hit points are like typically around 20-some points, so that's, doesn't take that much at all to take them out. More importantly, they are slow, like a Goomba. They have limited view, like a Goomba. And, well, when you touch them, it hurts you, much like a Goomba. Which, deliciously, I think is, a good way to kind of go off. And which is why I try to say with a lot of my videos to not be afraid to go and take things from the classic resources that are available to you already balanced and just reskinning them a little. Kind of saves you time, and it helps support a lot of people who make this game a reality. For our purposes, I will say that for a lot of the other enemies, you wouldn't be able to do exactly the same. I know the next time I do talk about the Bowser's various minions, I want to go and specifically look at the Koopa Troopas and the whole Koopa Legion, to which I intend to go a bit more in depth in how you go about that. But if I was going to go off the cuff, suggest a certain monstrous race to use for the Koopas, I probably actually would go with kobolds, honestly. For dragons, you get to be not the dragons. No, I'd probably say. Yeah, I would say Bowser might be a good place for him might be a dragon. Not sure about the whole flying thing, but my point still stands. And King wrote in, for those who can't see. Yeah, thank you. I think he does say, "Excuse me, good idea. I'm glad you agree. I mean, I like to tote my own horn once in a while." But yeah, I agree. There is a lot of variety you could splice from the Mario world. I mean, there's ghosts, there's giant chain chomps, piranha plants, Shabbly Mounds in that regard. Huh? See? And exactly, M. King. He wrote in kobolds with decent AC because of their shields. Exactly, that's where I'm trying to think with that. And you can just go down the line, just trying to find like with like. Now, where the fun can come in to really go and give you the more the Mario feel is trying to design whatever worlds you could go and make this feel like a Mario level. Because if you think about it, you don't exactly want to go and make your setup for a D&D game be 2D like a classic NES game. No, you probably want to go for more of what you would see in the 3D titles, like Mario 64, Mario Odyssey. I still am a proponent of taking inspiration from Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars, because that is the best Super Mario game, and you cannot tell me otherwise. But the level I want to talk about in particular would be the one from Super Mario 64. The first one in the Bomb Battlefield, I believe. It's been a while. Battlefield. I got it right. I feel like I have brought honor to my inner 90s kid. But if you recall, the layout in there, it does actually have just a random field of Goombas. I don't want to bring up a video of it, but I do see a photo here what I have in mind. Right there. Look at that. I mean, just the star, which could be what your character's there just to grab. Also a good thing to note that if you do have a Mario setting game, or Mario-based game, I should say, that there's so many collectibles you can make be your adventure hook. If you want, you can even have, rescuing a princess be the reason why your group gets together. Personally, I would go the route of, having a classic adventure party, maybe get tricked by some kind of cosmic god of chaos to be plopped into a Mario world, and then have to go and just play out for maybe a few sessions a classic Mario game. It could be a fun April Fool's kind of gag or a session. But the thing I want to point out, though, is if you notice in that field right there, you have your goal in the middle, star. How you got there depends on how you want to go about this particular session. I mean, you could go get red coins. You could go and maybe race a Koopa Troopa. That's besides the point. The thing is, if you notice how the Goombas are placed out, you can do the same thing in your D&D game, where you just go and have them randomly patrol around there, giving the players the options to use my platformer background to then either, maybe they use their cars to go and clear the field out, or maybe they just simply go dodge them all and collect what they need and get out of there. The whole thing, the whole setup has so many options, which I love, which is why I wanted to talk about it. But I also adore that even though you're trying to tie in a classic Mario platformer into a strategic tabletop game like D&D, Kids on Bikes, what have you, that you still are able to provide your group the option to go and mix in all the different options. You can go and they can take a non-aggressive route, be passive, and just get the thing and leave. They can go and make all kinds of fun parkour-y, maybe even Assassin's Creed-like jumps to get the thing. They can go on a stopping star-studded spree. It's fun. It's great. Wario would definitely make a great party treasure. Almost most enemies could be slow but very strong when parties run away. And exactly. M King, you get it. This is why I like you. This is also why you're probably the king of the ends. Yeah. That all said, I didn't mention that I couldn't really talk for long today. I got a lot of things going on tonight, and I didn't want to. I want to give myself some time to go do them. But this is not the last time we'll be talking about Mario. Oh, not by a long shot. I want to go and discuss how the different kinds of worlds. I definitely want to go and take some time to talk about the airship levels from Super Mario 3. Some of those are my favorite. And just the fact that some of the traps you could tie into your games would be a lot of fun. Thwomps, come on. Those things would be a blast to have, literally drop in on your party. But if you have any questions regarding my platformer background, which I'll be putting a link into later into the description below, or if you have any thoughts or your own ideas of how you could bring something like this to life, please share them in the comments below this video. And yeah, if you have any requests for future workshops, please let me know. I want to continue these up. These have been fun. I've been loving the chance just to sit down, get nice and dirty, and just give some random thoughts. By platforming background, were you parkouring around? Yes, I'm talking basically about parkouring around. Either way, it's been fun to talk about this stuff. I'm brief without all of the things I have to do for my creature creator videos, which I like doing, don't get me wrong. It's just nice to have a mix of well thought out ideas with just quick brainstormed out, maybe after a few cups of coffee, which, me, I am not opposed to enjoying once in a while. But, yeah. All right, I should get going to make sure I'm not late for my other thing. So that's gonna be it for today. Just a nice quick half-hour short one. I just want to give a quick shout out to N King to you. Thank you for at least popping in for this one. I will. These usually go for about an hour and a half normally, so this isn't the norm. So the next one you're able to join in with, you can hang out with me a bit longer. If you have ideas for future workshops or creature creators, please let me know. And you know what? Let me know what your favorite Mario game or platformer is, because maybe I'll use that for a future video idea. But more importantly, if you haven't yet, make sure to go and have a good weekend. If you're my fellow Americans here in the U.S. of America, enjoy, I guess, Labor Day weekend. Don't work too hard. I know I'm going to try to do my best to kick back and chillax. When I say chillax, I never use chillax. And yeah, make sure to hit subscribe if you haven't already. And if you don't, that's okay. I love you anyway. You have a great day, week, whatever. And yeah, take care. I'll see you all later. Bye. Yes, I would like to stop. I always forget it gives me that thing. They say, hey, we confirm stopping. Okay, yes, I would like to stop. Okay, this is bye now. Take care.